Now, somewhere around 7 million Americans, that's scary, are stalked every year. But the stalking, it's not always physical. It can also be digital. Now, thanks to technology, stalkerware is actually becoming a growing concern. So how do you protect yourself? Joining us with ways to protect yourself, our tech expert and friend, Stephanie Humphrey. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How's it going?
Great, and it is always a pleasure to see and speak with you. I mean, it sounds fairly self-explanatory, but what is stalkerware?
So stalkerware is any sort of software, app, device, or tool that helps a person spy on the private life of someone else. It really is pretty simple.
And it feels like, so simple that we've heard of this before. So why is it a growing concern? What's happening now?
Well, I think now we're seeing the explosion of hardware devices that could potentially be used for stalkerware. Those little tile things that you use to track your stuff, or the new Apple AirTags can also be used to stalk someone as well. But there are also just a lot of new different apps and software that you can download on people's phones. So it's easier than ever to stalk someone electronically.
And some of it, as you just mentioned, people have to have your phone. Like, they can download an app onto your phone, but not always. There's ways that they can do it without even accessing your phone.
Not always. I mean, usually accessing the phone is the primary way that stalkerware gets loaded onto your device. But again, you could use a hardware tool like an AirTag, place that in someone's book bag or in their purse, and they won't know that's there for about 3 days. Right now, Apple is saying in 3 days, if you don't access the AirTag or something like that, it'll beep. So the person will eventually know that there is some sort of foreign object on their person. But for a while there, you will have access to that person's whereabouts at all times.
Yeah, that's just creepy. All right, so aside from the beeping and the AirTag kind of telling on itself, are there ways that we can look and make sure we're not being stalked, or at least know if we are digitally?
Well, it's really tough to spot, especially on a phone. But if your phone starts heating up for no reason, if the battery wears down more quickly than you're used to, or if the phone starts shutting down for no reason, those are some telltale signs that there's some software on your phone that's causing that problem.
Okay, there are also some privacy settings, right? So you can see what you've added permission for.
Absolutely. You can go into your privacy settings and look at the location setting in that privacy setting. If there's any app in there that you don't recognize, that's a sign that someone's installed something on your phone. You can go into the accessibility area on an Android phone. It'll give you the similar type of information, but it can be really hard to spot because they make the apps look like something else. It's not just going to say spy on the name of the app. So you really have to dig through and take note of what you've put on your phone and look for something that looks out of place.
So because most of them, and we said not all of them, but a lot of them require access and require putting something on your phone, you told us how you can find it and hopefully revoke the permission. What can you do to prevent it from ever happening?
So you really just, you don't want to give anybody extended access to your phone, even if that's a partner or a spouse, because most of the time, depending on the type of stalkerware they're using, if they're using some sort of software that actually has to be downloaded to the phone as opposed to an app that you can just get out of the app store, it's going to take some time to get that on the phone, to enable it, that whole thing. So they would need access to your phone for a fairly significant amount of time. So you want to pay attention to that type of thing. Make sure that your passwords are strong, of course, have Face ID enabled if that's an option on your phone. So just make sure that all of the security settings that you have access to are enabled on the phone.
Yeah, I am so guilty of this, Steph. Like, I always walk away, leave my phone, and it doesn't lock for extended periods of time. So
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Put that auto lock on 5 minutes. That's the quickest setting. 5 minutes on the auto lock. And then another tip too that I didn't even think of before I started researching for this segment. If you do find something on your phone, depending on who you think put it there, don't necessarily just delete it. Because I know it can be that first knee-jerk reaction that you see something that looks out of place and you're like, let me just get rid of this. Don't necessarily delete it, because a lot of stalkerware programs will alert the person that installed it that it's been deleted. So if you have someone that you think may become violent, if they know that you know, it might not be a good idea to delete it right away, and you might need to save it for law enforcement or other authorities.
It's so much information, but we appreciate you breaking it down. Steph, you have a good one.